And one key of success for any NFL team, any week, is the health of their players, is the 100%. Health of their playmakers. And we saw at practice today, Josh Pascal still not at practice. Josh Reynolds did not practice. Was hoping we could get him out there, but it's not looking like it. Charles Harris also did not practice. Neither did Deshaun Elliott. Those are 4 pretty big pieces to this team, to this defense. What does it mean that you're not going to have, 1, 2, 3 starters on defense and probably your second best receiver? What does that mean for the Detroit Lions?
I mean, you want your best players. It means that my confidence that the Lions can win this game, it might go down a little bit, because when you don't practice Friday, I don't think that's a good sign for playing Sunday.
Definitely not.
And one guy that I feel like has gotten overlooked on this team that isn't practicing this Friday is Deshaun Elliott. Mm-hmm. Deshaun Elliott is second on the team in tackles with 57. Deshaun Elliott has been that starting safety all season long. Coming into this season, what was the knock on Deshaun Elliott? He couldn't stay healthy in Baltimore. He had seasons where he missed like a ton of games.
Yes.
But if he could stay on the field, that could be one of those sneaky sort of Brad Holmes good signings. And so far, it absolutely has worked out. You're getting probably more than you bargained for with Deshaun Elliott. So that would be really rough if they lose him, considering Tracy Walker is already done for this season. That's where you might have to see guys like C.J. Moore, I don't. C.J. Moore, he's a good special teams player. I don't want him anywhere near the starting safety.
If Melifonwu practiced all week,
I mean,
maybe we'll see him out there.
I'd probably rather see him than C.J. Moore, because at least with Iffy, you want to just see, give it a couple last gasps to see if you got something, if maybe he can have a Derek Barnes-like resurgence. I mean, do I think it'll happen? Not necessarily,
Probably
but
not.
I had counted Derek Barnes out, and look what happened. And Josh Pascal, that's another one that's a little bit disappointing, because when Josh Pascal entered the defensive lineup, I think he's made a huge difference. He's only played 3 games, but 2 of those 3 games he played against the Packers, and he played at Dallas. Those are 2 of the best defensive performances of the season for the Lions, and he obviously...
Coincidence? I think not.
I'll tell you what, it's not not a coincidence at all, but Josh Pascal
definitely plays a factor.
It does play a factor. It helps the entire defensive line that just needs bodies sometimes. It takes pressure off of guys like Aiden Hutchinson, who we need to start performing well. And I'd say Aiden Hutchinson played pretty well against the Packers and against the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. And then you look at Charles Harris. He's been banged up a lot this year. I think he's only played 6 games. He's been a little bit of a disappointment, but still, you're still thinking that maybe Charles Harris can be a guy that has a breakout game.
There's something.
He was their best pass rusher last year.
He
was the Lions' best pass rusher, and coming into the year, I thought for sure that he would be that bookend edge rusher. Hasn't worked out that way so far, but I'm still looking for that game that he has where he really makes a huge impact.
I'm looking for something.
Looking to
hear his name once in a broadcast.
Know that he's on the field.
See him making a difference. He's had a couple pressures. I believe he has a sack on the season.
Safety.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He had the safety. Yeah, but you need him to step up. Like you said, he was the best player on that defensive line last year.
100%.
He was your best edge rusher. Everybody thought, Brad Holmes found another one. And now look at him. He can't get out on the field. And when he gets out on the field, he's been relatively quiet. For me, missing Pascal, Charles Harris, you need Julian Okwara and Kaminsky to step up big time. Julian Okwara did that last week. Julian Okwara went out there, played a great game, had 2 sacks, was causing havoc in the backfield, got Justin Fields, not Jalen Hurts, on the ground a couple times. It's just not an easy thing to do, and you need him to repeat that performance this week, because you got to take some of the pressure off Hutchinson. As well that he's performed the past 4 weeks of the season, it has been partially because of a guy like Pascal, because of Kaminsky coming back from that hand injury, because of Julian Okwara stepping up. Nobody can do it alone. You look at the good teams, they all have multiple options of pass rushers on that defensive line, and when it's just Aiden Hutchinson out there, it's not easy. So we're going to need guys on that defensive line like Julian Okwara and Kaminsky, Austin Bryant maybe, Aleem McNeil, get some pressure from in the middle. We need those people to step up if we expect the Detroit Lions to do anything.
I mean, Julian Okwara, he's a guy that maybe last week can be used as like a springboard for him, because just saying that he played well last week, I think is completely understating it. He played the game of his life. He had 2 sacks, and his last sack completely ended the game for the Chicago Bears. Right after Justin Fields had just like been avoided three players, Julian Okwara gets up and says, game over. And then Dan Miller, of course, made that famous call.
Great call. Dan Miller's the GOAT. Dan Miller is a GD national treasure.
Yeah.
I love Dan Miller.
Absolutely. And John Kaminsky.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Yes. And John Kaminsky's another one. He's been, I'd say, when he's played, a little bit of a surprise bright spot. I mean, I could argue he's made more impact on this season than Charles Harris. Who would have thought that so far?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I just had to address something in the Woodward Sports chat real fast. I know where this is going. I King Horse. I do not crimp my hair. I don't even know what that means. I just wake up, I take a shower, give it one of those, comb it in the shower because it's pretty curly, so it's hard to get a comb through when it's dry, and then go to work. I do not crimp my hair. I actually, when I was younger, I grew my hair out for the first time my freshman year of high school. My Nana asked me if I got a perm because I never had long hair in my life, and it was like super curly. And my sister and her friends straightened my hair. It took them 3 hours, and each of them had a straightener. Wow. And this is all natural, baby, all natural. My my sister-in-law actually saw me not too long ago, and she's like, your hair is like exactly what I'm going for. You got those loose curls. Like, I just want that. I was like, some people got it, some people don't. I'm sorry, Chrissy. You just don't got it.
Hey, and if you got it, flaunt it, right?
Exactly.
If you got like women jealous of your hair, that's a pretty big accomplishment. I got to give you props for that.
I appreciate that. Hey, I appreciate that.
One player that we haven't mentioned yet on the injury report, let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Yes. And yesterday we talked about like what Josh Reynolds could bring to this team if he plays. And I thought that it was trending that he will play, but if he doesn't practice on Friday,
probably not going to play.
Then you're looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond, and Tom Kennedy as your 1, 2, 3 wide receivers. I know Tom Kennedy's been a bit of a folk hero, but you don't want him to have to play a bigger role than to just make like a play or two.
Yes.
And if he's your number 3 wide receiver, you might ask more of him, especially if the Lions need to throw
favorite Tom Kennedy.
My favorite Tom Kennedy.
What would you do if Tom Kennedy went out there and had a masterclass performance? I'm talking 9 catches, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, led the Lions to victory. How would you feel the next day?
I would do what I have accused a lot of other people of doing. I would proverbially, I don't know if I said that word, proverbially blow my wad. I would. I've accused a lot of people of doing that about Tom Kennedy prematurely, but I actually would do it because at the end of the day, I want the Lions to be successful.
He said he's last.
And if he does that and it contributes to a winning performance, what more can I say? What was my criticism? That he was sort of a preseason hero and hadn't really done anything in the regular season.
Coming to a practice squad near you.
But with injuries, Tom Kennedy has needed to be thrust into the not the starting lineup, but into the wide receiver rotation. And last week, he made a huge play on 3rd and 8 on the game-winning drive, a 44-yard catch. Unbelievable. I'm not one of those people that just sticks to my guns even when I'm proven dead wrong. And if he has like 9 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown or 2, I'll be right there cheering. I'll be like, Kennedy, Kennedy.
I'm on a buy-mageddon in one of my fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
And my options are either to start Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson, or pick up Tom Kennedy and start him in the place of one of those guys. It's a pretty deep league. And I have 5 players on bye. Mike Williams possibly coming back. If not, I have Josh Palmer. So one of those 2 are getting started. And then, it's either Gibson and Robinson, or I pick up Tom Kennedy.
Call me crazy. I might even go for Kennedy because obviously Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson are in the same backfield.
Yeah,
I know
they are playing the Texans this week.
That is very true. And against Philadelphia, they both put up pretty good fantasy numbers in the same game, but you can't count on that always it's not a winning formula to have 2 running backs from the same backfield on your fantasy team.
That's for sure.
Why not give Tom Kennedy a spin? And this is me saying it. This is the biggest Tom Kennedy hater.
Tom Kennedy's biggest hater. Number 1 Tom Kennedy haters tell me that. I might have to do it. I might have to show TK some love.
Because I, by definition, would be the least biased one.